Hello and welcome back to my Let's Play of Zatch Bell Memodal Battle. But not Zatch Bell Memodal Battle, Zatch Bell Electric Arena. Very last left off, we were doing the story mode, but before we conclude this playthrough, I kind of wanted to check out a few characters that we won't be seeing in the next game. So, for example, Reycom, Hasakawa, Kalulu, and Lori, as well as Robson and Apollo will not be in the next game. And Ronray and Leanne will get a completely different moveset and new sprite. So, when you consider it like that, I kind of feel the need to actually check out these characters as well as give you an idea of how these characters work. Especially Ronray and Leanne, because we'll have a proper comparison to how they present them in this game versus how they present them in the next game. So, without further ado, let's start with Reycom and Hasakawa. I'm going to go over a few things as well as give my general thoughts on the characters. Team 1, let's go, Reycom! Probably should give him a completely different voice. Yes, Hasakawa. I forget how they made him sound in the anime originally. Because, it's been so long since I watched them. I wouldn't say, any of the dub actors are bad. I would say that they're more so just given bad direction. Because, in Memodal Battle, I feel like all the voice actors are given their all there. But let's talk about let's talk about Reycom and Hasakawa. Reycom and Hasakawa do not work together. As in, they typically desync a lot. So, for example, usually Memodals will be the one to attack in the air, and while the hook user will be the one to defend. The problem here is, funny enough, Hasakawa barely has any moves. He's not the Memodal and partnered user that has the least amount of moves in the game. That actually go to Kalulu and Leori. But he is the one with a clear disadvantage. He is bad. There's nothing outstanding about him, nothing really unique. The most I can really say is that he is a worse Zatch and Kia. Because essentially their main mode of combat is very much ground control. And while that's not to say ground control isn't very useful in this game, it's extremely useful. Not going to say it's not. But when you consider how I was playing Zatch and Kia, you have extreme ground control with just Sakir. You also have ground control with Kei and Megumi, who ultimate spell punish you for being in the air. But that's also the problem with Reycom and Hasakawa. Well, one of the main problems with Reycom and Hasakawa. You can't really, if your opponent is in the air, you can't really do anything about it. And you can pretty much just jump all their attacks. So the answer to basically fighting these two are always going to be, well, just keep jumping. What they're going to do, you have to basically read your jump in order to, and of course the AI read my inputs like always for Taya and Megumi. But basically it's kind of like a cat and mouse of this character really loses to jumps and jump ins. So how do you really justify like saying this character is good. It's kind of like for anyone who plays Tekken, kind of like Lars in some games, where a lot of people will just put him low tier because you could just sidestep most of his attacks. Like, yeah, you gotta read the sidestep, but the fact that you can just sidestep most of his attacks, kind of just say, oh, I have the answer, like, for a majority of these situations. The same thing is here. Now, so here is his green spell. His green spells are the throwing projectile, like the stalagmite right there, and it has an active spot, which makes it really good as a trap. So it really is a decent, good spell. Not amazing, but pretty good. But it won't go full screen, even at full charge. Its up spell is the stalagmite that goes full screen. You may see the problem with what I said before. You can just jump them. They're not particularly fast and they don't cover much ground. They're fun as a whole, but like they're really just not really worth using. The most I would say you would use them for is like setting up OP. Like basically putting your opponent in a situation where they can't technically jump and they can't technically like if they jump they get hurt, if they don't jump they have a block, which allows you to have more setup. But at the same time it's kind of like not worth it. Like if you have to pick a character and not just play them, like I have to play Reycom and Hasagawa. By the way, their ultimate spell in this game, it's something kind of like a Beowulf, it seems, which I think, I'm not sure in the other games if this is what they give them, but this typically is the only game where Reycom is going to have a ultimate spell right away. This is mainly due to the fact that like Reycom and Hasagawa are the first ones to be eliminated, so they won't really have much of material to take from. Another thing that I'd like to mention is I figured out how to charge. The way you can charge is by holding the B button. I know, crazy. But yeah, you charge hard power by holding the B button. And in the next game, this still applies, but this, in this game, it can lead to basically you just spamming ultimate spells the whole time. Just running away and spamming ultimate spells. There's no disadvantage to it because you naturally gain spell power as the fight goes on. But I mentioned before that these two will desync a lot of times. Desync can usually be a good thing or a bad thing. For example, like if you know Melee, you would know that that Ice Climbers desync all the time, which is typically a good thing. Oh, I want to show off. Here's how bad Hasagawa moveset is. This is his moveset. He barely has any range. He doesn't have like anything like. He's not like Apollo who has a rock. To just throw. He doesn't really have any attack that really works, like fighting on its own, or really sending Reycom out. In all honesty, the best way to use Reycom and Hasagawa is kind of just like using Reycom as a shield. And if you're not using Reycom as a shield, you kind of just are defensive. Like you don't have many moves to like defend yourself in that regard. But in terms of his best spell, it's his level 3, which is his down spell. His down spell just covers the ground that the person is laying in. It's very mid-screen range. The only problem with it is that, again, if you're already in the air, you won't have to worry about it. So similar to like how, let's say, hit from Dragon Ball Fighters and like Gogeta, where like they have a projectile that just randomly spawn on you. Only like if you're already in the air, you don't have to worry about it. But like the desync for them is not beneficial in any way. So highly recommend that you just like stay within mid-range of your Don't let Reycom take too many hits, but don't let him get too far away from you. Trying to fight like the Momoto and the book user by yourself as Hasagawa is a really bad idea. And there is something to mention how this game control-wise, sometimes you really just can't freaking tell who you're controlling, which is a good thing in this game, I would say. Like for Zatch and Kyo, I sometimes just forget, oh, I'm not actually controlling that, I'm controlling Kyo. And Zatch is just matching my movement as best as he can. Like that is really good control, and like that's really good for like the AI to just know what to do. Why did we get hit but like not flinch? I'm now just like thinking about that. Why did that happen? But yeah, Reycom, you definitely really feel it. As well as like with the you'll feel that notion. Oh right, so this is the first time we actually fight Zatch and Kyo. So this is the first time we see their stage. And funny enough, in this game, you may notice that they have those Kanchime and Kagori themes for like their battle themes. In the next game, they will have their own theme, but it is kind of funny that they just were like, oh, what do we do if someone just isn't playing Zatch and Kyo? And like, to be honest, when I say this, I feel like this game is fine enough without like being able to play all the characters. Like this is a game, this game as a, if you don't think it as a fighting game, but more as a beat 'em up, like a adventure beat 'em up game, which chronicles like the journey of Zatch and Kyo. This game is still really fun and still like highly enjoyable. Like I would not say anything bad about this game. If I freaking lose to Zatch with my ultimate spell, like for the limitation of the Game Boy, this is still like relatively impressive. But that also being said, like I don't know, like it being like you can play as other characters and then not thinking about the fact that you may want to play Zatch and Kyo and not prepping their own theme for them is kind of like a bit of an oversight. My guess is that like the fighting game aspect of like playing all the other characters was last second. This was originally going to be just like a game of just a story mode and just a story mode as well as just a story mode properly. But they decided, you know what, why don't we just make this into a fighting game fully? Because like if you think about the games at this time, you kind of like think of a lot of Game Boy games as being relatively short. And this game is relatively short, don't get me wrong. Like to 100% this game is not going to take you very long. But I'm also going to say, like, while it might not take you very long, it's not going to be easy. Because, like, there's a bunch of stuff that require a lot of skill. Like, besides matching the button as well as, like, your quick reaction. Like, generally this game really does, like, want you to get better as you play it to unlock certain characters. And I'm being bullied by Kululu. I'm kind of mixed on Kululu and Leori, and I'll explain in the Kululu video. But generally, these two are some of the weirdest characters in the game. Because at first, I thought I knew how good Kululu and Leori was. But as I played them, I kind of realized most of their flaws. And the reason why I'm like constantly getting bullied by them is simply because there's not much else that these characters can do. But so something I would like to say is, while I said before, like the level 1 spell for Reycom, it's decent, like it leaves an active hitbox. It's not like the hitbox, that active hitbox is good. Like in general, it's just kind of like mid. Because it doesn't keep them trapped. It just like it just basically hit them once and then they could just get back to it, which is the problem there. Because like it doesn't hold a Momoto very long, so you kind of are just like stuck in a situation where just like also I'm skipping this cutscene. I'm not going to do this cutscene again. The main reason why is simply because we already showed off this cutscene. Oh wait, did I already? Oh wait, no, I didn't. So here you are. So fun fact, this is based off of a moment in the manga where Braga and Cherry are fighting like 2 Momotos, I believe, like in a row. Cherry hasn't slept for like 3 or 4 days, and she is basically fighting with a whip, fighting Momotos on her own, as well as Braga just fighting the book user. And and Braga is kind of like, she is surprisingly strong, yet so frail for a human. I don't understand why we had to work with these humans. And like the main thesis of the series is that we need other people to live and grow. If you ever heard the saying, no one in this world can live off of loneliness alone. Basically it's that. That's the thesis of the series. But Braga is seeing this fierce woman, seeing this like woman that is fighting tooth and nail. What are you going to do, Cherry? It's obvious I won't have any sympathy for them whatsoever. I'll burn their book at once. Cherry, are you really all right? I heard enough, Braga. I'll end this meaningless battle as soon as possible. Don't worry, I won't be a burden on you. If so, it's all right. Humans sleep once a day, but you can still move while sleeping for over 3 days. But it's more maybe dangerous to fight, continue fighting like this. So you can't escape anymore. Hand me your book. Otherwise, I'll take it from you by brute force. Braga? Well, I have no choice. But yeah, so fun fact about this Brago and Cherry, they're called Furious Brago and Cherry. This Brago and Cherry is a much stronger version of Brago. But the so like Brago on his own is much stronger. I'm not sure how strong is Cherry, but as you can see, she's hunched over and she's very tired. The main gimmick about Furious Brago and Cherry is that while Brago is stronger, Cherry is weaker. So much weaker, in fact, that she takes more damage. I'm not going to say twice as much damage, but I would probably say like 1.5 more damage than usual. Imagine if there was combos in this game. I would be dead. But yeah, Cherry and Brago will like take more damage. But Brago sees this strong woman and he's like, why is she still fighting so fiercely? Like, I don't have a problem with it because she's not really holding me back. But what motivates her to keep fighting so fiercely for me? There has to be something in it for her. And it's like, also this uppercut is getting me murdered. And basically it's his first time seeing empathy and like showing like kindness. It looked like you returned to your senses. My body won't move, Brago. Well, you fool, you've been too reckless. I can't collapse here. I need to battle here. Coco, I need to get back Coco. Until then. Hey, Cherry. Huh, she lost consciousness. Hey, you, this battle is on hold. It won't be like this next time. Stay out of trouble and wait. A fever, huh? Collapsing because of that. As for this battle, why do I need to be partnered with such a weak human? Why? But yeah, that's the end of Stay Playthrough. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time. Take care.